Good morning, Successful Salon Team Training Room. How are you all this morning? What is it today? Thursday? Wednesday? Thursday?
Thursday.
It's Thursday today. I only actually realised that because it was payday yesterday for my team, and that's a Wednesday. So that's how I remembered what day it is today. Are you struggling with what day it is out there? Give me a hands up if you're like lost. What day is it? Morning, Tracy. How are you? I hope you're all doing really, really well. Morning, Mandy. I've got your girl on the screen today. Dolly, hello. Hello, everyone. Jackie, Dawn. I hope you're all doing really, really well. Today, we are giving a little bit back to stylists. So stylists in the room, do you struggle with rebooking? Is it something that you get to the reception desk and literally start quaking because you're fearful that you're going to get that rejection or that turn down or that, well, I need to check my diary, and then it becomes like a really awkward silence? Well, I'm here to bust that for you today with Vicki, because it's something that really need to be able to accomplish, because when you get this thing right, you have a successful column. We always say profit is a repeat business of clients over and over and over again. If you're trying to just keep driving new traffic into your column all the time, it's really hard to be successful. So we're going to teach you today some amazing tips and tricks on how to get those clients rebooked and build that rebooking community inside of your business. So, welcome, Vicki. How are you this morning?
Really well, thank you. Yeah, really
Where
good.
are you in the world?
We're in sunny Cornwall. Despite last night, I left my furniture out and it poured down with rain. So that's
it?
Yeah, absolutely. Thunder and lightning, the lot.
Oh, wow.
So it's now sunny to dry.
Have you got the sun back out again today?
Yes, we have.
Excellent,
Yeah.
excellent. So, Vicki, tell us a little bit about you.
Okay, so like I said, live in Cornwall. The salon that I work in, Alternative Styles, is about roughly 20 minutes away from where I live. And I've actually got to get a ferry to work, so that can be quite challenging. So we've got a really small team. It's only 3 stylists and 2 future professionals, and then we've got one of our girls. She's qualified, but she just wants to come in for a little bit more training, and that basically is it. So the issue that we have is not having enough staff for too many guests, really. So it's making sure the guests that we have rebook every time, because if not, in 6 weeks' time or 8 weeks' time, they're just not going to have a slot because it's gone.
Yeah, and you've been looking for staff for quite a while, like 2 years, haven't you?
Even more than 3 years.
Wow.
Yeah, so, and we're employed. I just do not get it.
No, it's a pandemic in itself, finding good stylists that want to work and want to be employed. It's crazy. I have actually been to Vicki's salon. I was there doing a team training day in January. It was the end of January, I think.
February. Well, yeah, early Feb.
Was it? I can't remember now. And that ferry was so fun. So my sat nav took me the long way round. I didn't get to go over it on the way here. But your salon actually overlooks the water, doesn't it? So you've got this amazing, massive window that has got like a bar in front of it with chairs that your guests sit and get to just look at the beautiful ferry and the water and take in the views whilst they're having their hair done. I love it. It was really cool. So I think it was February, and so on the way back I said to you girls, can I get on that ferry? Will that take me where I go? And you were like, yeah. Oh my god, I loved it. It was so cute, although I did get told off for getting out of my car.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I went up on the deck I was doing a Instagram story. I was up on the deck like this, and I just heard, well, the owner of the white Mercedes, please get back in the car. And I was like, I'm in the middle of doing a story. No. So I just carried on, then went down, and they were all like,
yeah.
Pardon?
Did you leave your engine running because they get ever so nice?
No, I turned it off. I think they wanted me to pay. Because it's quite short, quite a short crossing, isn't it? So I think they just wanted me back to pay. Mandy said it was the end of January. Thank you, Mandy. Hi, Sandy, Louise, Nikki, Genevieve. Hello. So why is rebooking important to you?
Lots of different reasons, really. It's stability for me. Again, being employed, I know what I'm going to get at the end of each month. Without that, I wouldn't be able to have bought my house. I wouldn't be able to drive a nice car. I wouldn't be able to do the nice things that I do. And that's just life. And also, hairdressing is my world. I think I need it more than it needs me, for sure. For definitely sure. So yeah, I mean, I get to do what I love, the stability to be able to do what I love and have what I love. And hopefully keep my guests happy because they're not ringing saying, oh, I haven't got an appointment. Well, I'm sorry, I can't get you in for 12 weeks, Mrs. Smith.
I believe it's a culture inside of a salon. Many moons ago, pre-365 days, I didn't have many people rebooking because I didn't see the importance of it. I didn't understand the importance of it. It was just like, do you want to rebook or no? And I was very lax on that. Now I really home in on rebooking. How do you approach that question with them? Because I guess a lot of stylists get to the reservation desk and they're almost like, do you want to rebook? No, that's fine. Don't worry about it. That's cool. And then it's really awkward, isn't it? So how do you approach that conversation?
I think it starts way before you even get to that part. I think it actually starts in your consultation, especially if you've got a new guest that's planning a hair journey with you. It's almost like you need to tell them, so in 6 weeks' time, we need to be doing this. Then in another 6 weeks' time, we need to be doing that to get to your end goal. But then your end goal isn't your end goal, because if you want to keep this up, colour, style, shape, whatever, then actually we need to be booking probably a year's appointment in advance. So it's not even before you get to the reservation day, it's in your consultation. And again, that's even if they're not in with you that day and literally just for a pure consultation.
Yeah. So it's setting their expectations, isn't it?
Most definitely. And planting the seed as well.
Yes, I loved that when you popped that in the chat that we was having beforehand, planting the seed. So that seed can grow and grow and grow. So by the time they get to the reservations desk, it isn't a question, it's a instruction almost, isn't it? Like in 6 weeks' time, I've pre-booked this. So what comes out of your mouth? What do you say? Do you use a script, or is it very natural each time?
I think it's just very natural, really, because everyone is so different. And the thing is, you've got to kind of treat every guest different. But I think more than anything, it's like what I tell the girls all the time. I think it's just being a bit ballsy. It's almost just like, okay, so should we book your appointment for 6 weeks' time? It's not saying, this really makes me cringe, when people go, do you want to rebook? What do you want to call? No, don't call. No. It's giving people the option to say no.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if I should say this, but it's like almost like the shit sandwich, isn't it? Like, you ever leave a conversation on a negative, because they will take the negative. They won't ever think positive. So yeah, I think it's just basically saying 6 weeks' time, I think will be recommended for you, especially to keep your hair in this shape. But again, it's also going back to the consultation. It's planting that seed once. When you're cutting the hair, say it again, 6 weeks' time, this may start to frustrate you. So 6 weeks' time, definitely we'll need to get this book back in, get to the reservation desk. And again, I'm really fortunate because unfortunate or fortunate, if you like, we don't have a receptionist. So literally all of our girls, we take our own bills and make our own appointments. So really, we do have to take responsibility for that ourselves.
Yeah. And it is taking responsibility, isn't it? Whether you've got a reservationist or not. I don't believe it's ever the reservationist's job to ensure a rebooking. That is 100% down to the stylist. And so if you're not getting the rebookings you want, and you're thinking, well, I leave my guest at reservation, she's not doing her job properly. I believe you should have planted that seed planted it again, like Vicky's just said, have the conversation on the way to the reservations desk, and then hand the guest over to your reservationist by saying, could you please get Julie booked back in 6 weeks' time? She would like this product and that product. Julie, it's been so lovely to see you. I can't wait to see you in 6 weeks. Take care, quick hug or elbow bump when we go back. And then leave the guest with the reservationist. You know, too often the blame is passed onto the reservationist, and you know that reservationist has no emotional connection with that client. No. Why is that client ever going to say yes to that reservationist? They don't really know each other apart from a good morning, hello, and there's your bill. So, you know, the emotional connection is with the stylist. It's the stylist that needs to be doing that work every single time with every single guest. Vicki, your rebooking percentage is just frigging nuts. It's like 86% consistently.
Yeah.
So how do you keep that? Because you might have clients that want to book online, you might have clients saying no. So how do you go about making sure that you are consistent with getting your guys to rebook?
So I'll take one of my gents' prime example. Men don't like to rebook. I don't do an awful lot of men, but we have a system called Salon IQ, and it sends out a reminder every 7 weeks, which basically just says, tick tock, your hair is growing. I suggest you make it doesn't say I suggest, but it's something along the lines of, I think you should make an appointment. And I know religiously every 7 weeks he rings and says, oh, by the way, Vicki, I've got my text. Can you fit me in tomorrow? No, I can't. Yeah. So I learned to book him in for 7 weeks time because I know I'm going to get the phone call.
Yes. Yeah. And you, when you can't, you're not upsetting them, but you're letting them down. They feel like they've been let down.
Yeah.
I think the best place I learned this about rebooking was when I used to get my nails done with a particular lady. And every time I left, she would say to me, and this was not long after I'd had my little girl. So I was trying to have my nails done to make myself feel better, but money was really, really tight. Don't forget, back then, my business wasn't doing well. Like, I was scraping the barrel, and I'm trying to make myself feel better. So I want to get my nails done to make myself look and feel that bit nicer, you know, new mum. And every time I left, she would say to me, Jen, do you want to rebook? And I would say no, because I didn't know in 4 weeks' time if I'd have the money for it. Then in 4 weeks' time, when I tried to get back in with her, she'd be like, well, I'm really sorry, I'm fully booked. And I'd get so frustrated and so upset because then I'm having to wait another 2 weeks to get in. And it drove me insane, and it quickly taught me to rebook. So that then educated me in having people rebook into my salon and building that culture of, well, no, I'm sorry, I can't get you in. So, you know, we best do it now. And I, like you, I don't go a year on, but I do book my clients for 3 months, like the 3 months blocks every single time without fail. And I think salon stylists and salon owners, you have started to do that, because we all know August, September time, we start booking for Christmas, don't we? So it's acceptable then. It's okay then. Your clients are happy to do it then. But why not anywhere else? Like, the psychology behind that, I just don't get it. So how about all the rest of your girls? Because you obviously have to train your new guys coming up how to rebook, because nobody naturally falls into being a stylist with an 86% rebooking rate. So, excuse me. How do you teach your girls to up their rebooking game?
So again, we're really fortunate. So Mandy, who's the owner, she actually does training on a Monday. She shuts the salon, and it is literally just for future professionals and her, and they have their own guests. They book in. So Mandy makes sure that they actually book themselves in. They make sure that they get the rebooking. So it's learning, isn't it? It's making sure that you do those step-by-step things. So when they do become on the floor, that they're ready. It's not just a case of, here's your certificate, go do it.
Yeah.
Jazz especially, she's nearly qualified now. Unfortunately, it's going to have to take a step back because of lockdown and things. But she follows me round. Literally, she's like stuck to my bottom 99.9% of the time, which is brilliant. And even her lingo, I turn around and think, did I just say that? She literally just copies everything I say, and it flows. and which is nice because that's all she has ever known.
Yeah. So it does start from that tiny little tot almost, isn't it? Growing up through the, yeah. And I think actually, you know, apprentices, when they're in college, like if they go to a local college, or, you know, they touch on rebooking, of course they do, but there's never any real training done for that. And I think sometimes salon owners are busy behind the chair, they don't think about that, and it's almost harming their salon's growth if we don't take that time out to really focus on rebooking with the clients. Because at the end of the day, if clients aren't rebooking, we've got a serious issue. Now, there is another reason why clients don't rebook, and that could possibly be that there's some issues with a stylist, that we need to maybe up their skill set, but that's for another conversation. But when your skill set is right, and you know everything else is, you're doing really, really well, and you're falling down at that line, I think you just really need to get some education along, having those conversations, you know, building up your confidence, bringing it into the culture of the business, going and finding the person inside of your salon that has got the highest rebooking percentage ever, and then go like what Vicki just said, follow them around, you know, start adopting their language, start listening to what they're saying and saying that to your clients. Don't feel awkward about it. I think the other thing that stylists get hooked up on, like consultations especially, but I think it happens at the rebooking desk as well, when you think everyone else in the salon is listening to you. Do you remember that time when you was an apprentice and you had to go and do a consultation, and you almost kind of did this because like everyone's listening to me and I don't want them to hear what I'm saying in case I say it wrong? The same thing kind of happens at the reservations desk. No one is listening to you. Nobody can hear what you're saying. If you're with a client, can you hear the stylist next to you's consultation? No. If you're truly invested in the client that you're doing, can you hear the stylist at the reservations desk trying to rebook? No. I think you need to get out of that fear and just start to really, when you get back, start working on it. When we go back, we are going to be in a situation that if they don't rebook, and that's exactly why I've got Vicki on today, if they don't rebook, you are going to have this issue that Vicki's got, where if they don't rebook, they're not getting back in when they need it. So you need to be really focused when you get back into the salons on making sure they rebook. This is prime opportunity to say to them, would you like to rebook your next 3 appointments? Because I know for the next 6 months, we are going to be nuts. Like, it's not going to calm down. And even if you don't know that, the mere fact that you've said it sows that seed in the guest's mind, okay? And they can always change an appointment, but we need to get them booked in the first place. Would you agree with me, Vicki?
Yeah, most definitely. And I think it's also, when we go back to about like planting the seed, it's almost like, right, on your next appointment, we need to be doing this certain thing and making sure you book that certain thing in. Because I think the problem that we're going to have when we go back, we're going to have to start explaining to guests how much a tint regrowth is and what a full head of permanent colour is, or even what a full head of semi-permanent colour is. Because, you know, we've been used to those guests coming in every 6 weeks, which their regrowth is a tint regrowth. But actually now they've got, like me, 3 inches, which that, unfortunately, that is not just a tint regrowth. That is a tint regrowth and possibly 2 to 3 extra bols.
Yeah.
So their price is going to be more with the price increase. So what you don't want to do is get to the counter almost and be like, yes, so the price is this. And then, yes, we'll rebook you for 6 weeks' time. But actually in 6 weeks' time, you would go back to what it was previous.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a key point to point out, actually. The prices are going to be more for them. And so there may be a little bit of stick around the whole rebooking. So you really must point out that the prices will change. Genevieve is saying, when you rebook, don't you take a deposit?
So we do on certain jobs. So if they're big colour changes, then yes, we always take 50% deposit. If there are regular guests, then no.
No.
Um,
So I've never taken deposits in my business. That's something Chloe and I are going to have a discussion about moving forward.
and I think we will as well, especially for like our first week when we come back, because we can't have.
Oh, Vicky's internet's cut out. No, she's back. Hello.
Have a phone call. I was just going to have a phone call.
One of the things I've done, and it was actually really, really funny, and I saw these two ladies in the queue for Waitrose. Now, you know, the queue getting into any supermarket at the minute is really, really long. So it was like, okay, this is going to go one or two ways. So I was just really polite. But this client, Chloe, said to me, she's not to come in anymore because she keeps booking a really, really big job and then not turning up for it. So Chloe had phoned her and said, you know, this is not fair. This is not going to happen anymore. So you need to pay a deposit to book in from now on in. And our reservationist was told. And anyway, so she went kind of 6 months, hadn't booked in. She's phoned up again. My reservationist thought, well, she's had the balls to phone up, so let's just let her have the appointment. And my reservationist obviously felt quite awkward about asking for a deposit, so she didn't. And this client didn't turn up again. And I actually lost my shit with her. And so I emailed this client and I totaled up, because it was like 6 times that she hadn't come in. And it was over £700 worth of work. And so I sent this client an email, and I very politely worded, I have to say, I was very proud of myself. And I said to her, you are now barred from this salon. However, if you would like to come back in, because I know how much you love having your hair done at this place, because she just always comes back. She does this and then she just always comes back. There is a 700 and whatever it was pound bill that needs to be paid before you ever step foot inside of my business again. And I sent this email out, and I'm sticking to it. She is not, and she, like, I've removed her, that she's got do not book this client in all over. So yeah, I think, you know, some clients do take the mick, but luckily for us, the majority of them don't. But like I just said, I think
when you've got that there, you know that they are going to come back. You should never assume, but it's like, you know, if I've been doing guest hair now for over 5 years, and if they haven't turned up or haven't showed up, I actually know there's something majorly wrong, so I'm on the blower.
Yeah.
But are you okay? And 99.9% of the time, you know, something has happened, that the car's broken or such and such. So yeah, we are very fortunate.
Yeah. 3 no-shows and we sack them as a client. I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah, food and deposit.
We do tell a little like white lie sometimes. So when it comes to the whole sacking off a guest, our system doesn't let us book any further appointments unless you put a deposit after 3 times.
Yeah.
But you know, that's got that barrier of almost, I'm sorry, I'm not rebooking you. I mean, I thought I was ballsy, but Jen, that email that you sent to that guest, but so it needs to happen because people don't understand.
No. And I had another guest actually. Well, it was one of Chloe's guests, and she kept booking the appointment and then cancelling on the morning of the appointment. And then rebooking for the next week. So inside, I knew what was happening. Inside of her brain, she's thinking, well, it's okay. Jen's still getting the money. I know I'm not coming in right now, but I'm coming in next week. So she's still getting the money. But she didn't understand the value of that space that is now gone, that I cannot now resell. So she's a very good client. She spends a huge amount of money. She is one of my top 30 high spenders. So in the end, I was like, right, this has got to stop. So I called her because I think, you know, what is going on with this client? Because that's not normal behavior to then keep, you know, stopping the appointment and removing it. And it turned out she was suffering from ME. So she was booking the appointment, because that's when she wanted her hair done. And then on the morning of the appointment, sometimes she just physically couldn't get herself out of bed. So I think you have to be aware that sometimes there are things like that happen, and maybe a phone call. Just all I said to her was, what is happening? What's going on? Because from from my side of the coin, this is what's happening for me. I would love to know what's happening for you. And when she said that, we came to an arrangement that, you know, she can phone up on the morning of the appointment and book then if there is space, but she is not to pre-book any more appointments because she can't commit to them. And she's never let us down again. She's been really good. So I think sometimes we have to be very thoughtful as to what's going on in their lives. Do you agree?
Yeah, and also, but you haven't lost her as a guest either.
No.
Because, you know, you've been honest with her and she's been honest with you. And I think that's where it all stems from as well. It's just being a little bit honest.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So the other thing you're really, really good at, I'm just having a quick look here on calls. If they are more than 15 minutes late, I call them. Yep, we do too. Some of the girls don't like calling their own clients. It's quite funny. They get each other to phone each other's. What systems do you use in your salon? I use Salon IQ. You use it too, don't you?
Yeah.
Really great rebooking, point of sale system. Genevieve would take deposits on all big jobs, but then we go back. But when we go back, we are taking deposits on everything. Yeah, it's going to be a hard shift, isn't it? It's like, what do you do? Because it's either that or they are charged 100% if they don't show, and they've got to understand that. So I think whatever you decide to do in your business, whether that's taking deposits or not, if you decide not to, I think you have to have the conversation that if you do not show for your appointment, you are charged 100%, because you might only be allowed to service 50% of your guests to what you're normally allowed to service, you know, and it's going to be difficult. I only do for people that mess me around. They do not tend to do it anymore. And it's about being ballsy. You've just got to show them not who's boss, but just that you value your time and your business, and they need to commit. Dolly's saying know the date of their 6 to 8 weekly appointment beforehand and tell them. Then they know if they are on holiday or have a commitment. Absolutely. Yeah, I like that. And I also think stylists should promote the fact that he or she is very popular within the salon, and unless the client rebooks, there is no guarantee of booking them in 5, 6 or 8 weeks. Absolutely. Yeah, it's just having those open, honest conversations, isn't it? Okay, is there any more questions from anyone for Vicki whilst you have her here? I think you should pick her brain. Salon IQ, I found it really good. Yeah, love Salon IQ. Try Fresher, Tracy. It's brilliant. I don't know what Fresher is, Liam, so I can't comment on that. Don't think we get many no-shows when back. I think people image of us has now changed. Absolutely. We hopefully be more appreciated. Yeah, I think we will. I really think we will. How are you planning your diary when you go back? From Liam.
So we already have a list of all of our highest spenders, which they will come in first. They get priority, and then we'll work back from when we stopped. So when we stopped working, then we'll work back from that list.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I've been in contact with my guests throughout this whole thing. So I've been ringing my Sues, making sure that they're all okay. Me and Amanda, who's my manager, we've been really working super hard and making sure that when we go back, we know exactly who our Sue is. And actually, for those people that are a bit of a pain, that don't show, that you feel that you need to take a deposit for, actually, do I want them in my business? Do I want them in my column? Probably not. No.
Make way for the girls that are invested in you, and
yeah. And actually get in your chair that wants to spend money.
Yeah,
and that will be.
Yeah, we've done the same in our business. So we've got our list of our top 30 guests. They're all actually it's really cute. They're all in a little WhatsApp group so that we can talk to each other.
I love that idea. So cute.
It is cute. So they're top priority to come in. And then so Chloe and I tried to get our heads around how to do this the best way possible. And so we booked 15-minute consultation appointments, because Chloe and I are going to be doing this from 2 separate houses. So the thought of being on the phone with clients and then them phoning back and then this happening and this happening is just really really awkward. So to be as organized as possible, we're booking in 15-minute appointments of all the clients on the list, so there's not lists in different houses. And then when we get the green light, we're not booking any appointments right now for anybody, because we don't know when we're allowed to open. You know, they've said maybe the 4th of July, but they haven't said yes, the 4th of July. So we're contacting clients now and just saying, you know, we're hoping it's going to be the 4th of July. We have a system set up ready. When we get the green light, Chloe and I will be phoning everybody and getting you booked in. Please let us know as soon as you get that appointment slot, whether you can make it or not, because otherwise it will be given to somebody else. So they'll be expecting the call. Okay. And then what we've done is we've booked them 15-minute appointment slots on a day, a particular day that we've just plucked out of the air, so that Chloe and I can go in and just move them from that page over and actually book their proper appointment, so we know who's been contacted and who hasn't. Because with 2 people doing this, it's going to end up really confusing otherwise. So, and that way they're just booked in for a consultation, so I know it's not a proper appointment. They're all in 15 minutes after 15 minutes, 15 minutes, 15 minutes, and I just drag them over and book them in the actual appointment that they're going to have on the day that we're going to put them in. All right, so that's how we've chosen to do it. Have you started booking clients in, Jackie? No, it's just creating, like, I've seen so many salons putting up, especially on Instagram, like, oh, when the whole thing with the Sunday a few weeks ago with Boris, when we might have been allowed open, and everyone was like, we're going to start booking appointments, and I'm like, what are you doing? You're just messing clients around. So no, we're not booking anything, not until we are told this is the date that you can open, and then we will book them there. Are you giving more time and cleaning time? You're gonna have to, and the guests gonna want to see the stylist doing it. You know, I'm fortunate in that my team already have built, they have an hour to do their cut and finish anyway, because I don't ever like being late for a client. So they have that hour, and they are used to, you know, their brushes and everything have always been cleaned, sterilised, wrapped in cling film. So that's not going to have to be added in. They have always had a towel across the top of their trolley, their scissors open, their combs laid out, sprayed with barbicide, turned over in front of the guest, even though they've already been cleaned, so the guest can see it happening. So that's not having to be added in. But the sanitisation of the station, you know, that's an extra work, and it's a big job. And the reservationist is not going to be able to do that, because she's going to be seeing guests in and out. The other thing that Chloe and I have decided to do, which is going to help us with staggering times, is that when we've split the 2 shifts, because I'm very fortunate, I've got a small team, Vicki. I have a small team, and I can, in the space that I have my team a station apart from each other. So fingers crossed, it's not going to cause too much havoc for me. However, I'm going to have them start, so one set start at 9 and the other set start at 9:30, because I'm going to have to make sure that those basin areas are sanitized in between. Yeah. All right. So I've got to stagger that start time with them. I don't know what else we're going to have to do, because I don't have the guidelines, but that's the only decisions that I've absolutely made at the moment.
The only difference Amanda are doing, again, because we're the only stylists, and Mandy, bless her heart, she's pulling her hair out, but she's one of the people that've got to stay in for 12 weeks. So it's down to me and Amanda, really. So we're going to each have an apprentice, and Amanda's going to do 9 until 3. And then I think I'm coming in, or 1:30, maybe 1:30. And then I'm coming in at 1 and then working until 8 o'clock. So it's almost shifts, because then you've also got to remember, if that one guest comes in that's got the symptoms, at least it will just be almost one group of people that are going to get it. We're not all going to go down with it.
Yeah, it is. It's a minefield, isn't it? What does that say? Are you leaving spaces in between? Only one client at a time. Absolutely, only one client at a time. I've always done that anyway. I charge my prices on time, so I've never squeezed clients in between, because if that guest is paying for that time, we are there with that guest at that time. I'm taking deposits when we go back. Cool. I like the idea of that. It's a great idea to give them a phone call time slot. Absolutely. Really don't get these salons that take in bookings, create more work for themselves. Exactly.
And you become more of a hindrance, I think. I mean, it's different ringing to say, oh, I'm sorry, we're gonna have to move your appointment again, to hello, how are you? How are you doing? You know, it's completely different conversation. And I think if you do keep having to ring, you just become a pain and an annoyance.
Yeah, absolutely. If you have an online booking system, can you send out invoices through the system you use? I use Stripe. We have explained to our clients that they will receive our invoice prior to their appointment, as we are not taking any payments for the first few weeks. Also include your invoice, your PPE charge, if you're adding this to your client's bill. I don't know the answer to that, because I don't think Salon IQ can send an invoice out. We are taking payments at the station, so they won't be at the reservations desk. I'm also so bloody lucky that my business has 2 entrances. So I have a front entrance and a back entrance that go out onto almost 2 different streets. But the back is more of a courtyard with cafes out the back. So they will be invited in, and they will be told this on the call when we book their appointment, in through the main door, out through the back door. So there's a one-way system going through my business at all times. And they won't be coming back to the reservations desk. Payment will be taken at the station, where the credit card machine will go over to them, or cash be given and taken. They won't be moving around. So once they're in, it's station, basins, station, out. That's it. I'm taking the reception chairs away so that there's nobody just sitting down and lingering and picking things and touching things, because that's a pinch point. And one of the things that Ken said that I really, really liked was having a table outside the salon with a box of tissues and a little bit outside the bathroom door, with a box of tissues and a little bin, and then inside the bathroom door, a box of tissues in a little bin. So you take a tissue, open the bathroom door, go in, lock the door, drop the tissue in the bin, go to the toilet, wash your hands, pick up a tissue, open the door, go outside, drop the tissue in the bin outside. I thought that was a really great way, because we've got to think about how to minimize all this cleaning that's got to go on constantly, because it's just going to overtake us. We'll be cleaning for like within an inch of our lives. Move over, Mrs. Hinch. Assistants can't shampoo and wash off colours, as it's meant to be one-on-one. Okay. Yeah, so if that's what they're saying, I mean, I've not read that yet, but if that's what they're saying, then that's what it's going to have to be. Do you think if it's impossible to have a 2-meter distance, we shall be allowed a screen in between clients? Well, if you can't get 2 meters in between your stations and you put a screen there, how's your stylist meant to get round? That's not going to work. So if that's the case, then you're either going to have a chair empty. Like my salon's going to have a chair in between empty, and over that chair will be tape, so that nobody is thinking, oh, I'm just going to go and sit myself down in that chair. Absolutely not. It's not usable. I am moving one of my stations so that I can absolutely have that 2 meter, because I've got enough chairs and stations. I just need to move the last one up a little bit. That's it. And then I've got that 2 meter. So that's how I'm doing it. I've got enough space to be able to do that in my business. But many of us don't. You know, Damon, bless him, he's lucky. He's got like a 4-story building, you know, Lau hairdressing in Maidstone, and he's restructured his whole entire salon. And then he's gone up a level, and then he had a team room up there that he's just put some more stations in. So if you've got the space, I suggest you go and make the stations. You go and get on with it. I've split my team to every other day to prevent total isolation for my business. That's a good idea. But again, until we get the government guidelines, like I haven't even had a conversation with my team. Chloe and I are trying to think about things that we know. I don't want to tell the team, this is this is what we're going to do, and then the guidelines come out and I've got to go, oh, actually, no, this is what we're going to do, and they've already got their head around something else, and now I'm just annoying them. So I haven't had that conversation with my team yet. How will sterilize their brushes with a sterilizer spray? Well, there's a system. If you go and do the Barbicide training, there is a 3-point system of 3 different sprays and solutions that need to be used. Okay, so go and do the training over on Barbicide and get the certificate, which is really good for going back into your salons anyway, to show that you've done it. And then they show you on that training the 3 products that you need to use and the way that you need to use it and the system, and then you can get them ordered in, ready for when you open, and follow that system. Some of the guys the other day on the 365 Salon Owners and Managers page, did you see it? They've got like these, I think Mandy's got them as well, like little wash bags to hang them out to dry in. I thought that was quite a good idea, so you can hang them outside to dry. One-way system is awesome. I know I am lucky because I know that a lot of salons won't be doing that. Are you taking cash payments? Yes, with gloves. Like the supermarkets are still taking cash payments. Why can't we? And they've been open throughout this entire thing. What about coats? Well, hopefully it's going to be warm enough that they won't be needing them. But if they do, then I will probably, I haven't even thought about it. You could give them a bag. Give them a carrier bag.
Yeah, that was that we discussed in one of our team meetings. So they'll be given, and it sounds awful, doesn't it? A bag, which they will then take. They'll put their coat and their bag in, which they then take to the station
and take out the salon with them. Oh my God. I've got a whole cupboard of plastic bags. I've now found a use. Gosh, there's so many little things to think about. Absolutely. Absolutely.
But again, it's all a minefield because we just don't know yet. And it's all ifs and buts. And until we actually know, until we get the protocol of what needs to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. So this Facebook user is going to be taking cash, but should be washing it in hot water every day. Okay. I've never washed money. I feel like a drug dealer doing that and washing my cash. I'm taking the chairs away, so no chance of anyone sitting there. Yeah, absolutely. I've got no space to do that. So I'm just going to stick tape over them so that nobody can physically sit on them. Books, magazines, gone out of the business. Yeah. Isn't it funny how any conversation you have at the moment turns into Corona? Right, on that note, we have been on here for 42 minutes, guys. Well done for those of you hanging in and having this discussion with us, because it is nice to see what everybody else is doing. It really is. And thank you, Vicki, for sharing the knowledge behind your rebooking percentage and how you go about that, because I think that's key to every stylist out there moving their business forward out of this pandemic. You know, that is one of the KPIs in your business you seriously need to focus on. So if it's not 80%, 86% like Vicki's, that's your new goal. That's where you want it to be. So that's your little goal for going back. So have a look at what your rebooking rate is now. We want it to be at 86%. So what would be a good little stepping stone for the first week of Corona? So let's say it's 50%. If we rebooked 65%, we'd be really happy with that. In the next week, if we rebooked 75%, we'd be really happy with that, so that we work towards it. So it's not such a huge, massive mountain that we need to climb. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. For those of you that are on the Find Your Sue course, I will see you in the training room at 1 o'clock. I'm off to sing happy birthday to one of our 365 members with all of the 365 team and get that recorded because it's his 70th. I hope he's not on here watching. Oops. I doubt it. He's not in the group, so it's fine. So I'm off to do that, and then I will see you all at 1 o'clock in the training room. Vicki, I'll see you at 1. Take care. Lots of love. Mwah. Bye. bye to everybody. Have a lovely rest of your day. Goodbye.
Thank you for. Bye.
Bye.